You know, when it comes to what I'm known for on YouTube, I'm known for more than just my pretty face and my nice rack. I'm also known to be a little bit toxic. I'm kind of a thorn in the side of other gun channels, usually big gun channels. And the reason for this is I'm not here to make friends. I don't want to be their buddy. I don't want them to ordain me and make me the next big channel. I'm also not here to schmooze my way into lucrative business deals or be a part of anybody's clique. I'm not here for that. I'm here to do what I think is best for the Second Amendment and for the gun community as a whole. And I know a lot of people say, there's no such thing as a gun community. And I'm like, well, then you're just obviously not part of it, because there definitely is. There is quite a bit of camaraderie and a community feeling to a lot of what goes on YouTube as far as the Second Amendment is concerned. If you can't realize that, or you're not part of it because there's no profit in it for you, that's on you, not on us. But like I said, I'm here to do what I think is best for the Second Amendment and the gun community as a whole. And if I think you're not, I have no problem shitting on your doorstep and letting you know I did it. I'll ring the bell and stand right there and left you a present. Because I don't care about whether you like me or whether you ordain me as the next, big channel, your disciple, and I can get more subs and make more money. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here, like I said, to do what's best for the Second Amendment. And because of this, a lot of people send me, because I call people out, a lot of people send me emails all the time. Hey, why don't you call this person out? Every video they do is just like an advertisement for a gun. They're not honest about it. Everything they say is positive. Why don't you call them out? And I'm like, well, because I don't have a problem with that. That's a commercial. You just watched a commercial. And I believe commercials should exist. This is a free market. And gun manufacturers can't put commercials on TV, so I'm glad they can put them on YouTube. So if someone provides a service of making commercials for guns, I'm okay with that, as long as they're not selling out the Second Amendment to do it. If they are trying to promote fear and create division, etc., to make conflict so more guns sell, that's another thing. But if they're just saying positive things about a gun, I don't care. If I watch a video if I watch a commercial on TV for Ford trucks, I expect them to say, Ford trucks, number one at this, and this, and that's why you should buy a Ford truck. I don't expect them to say, Ford truck, pretty good, almost as good as a Ram. And as long as you don't mind a really shitty entertainment system and maybe some fuel injection problems, Ford truck's the one for you. Don't expect them to say that because it's a commercial. So same thing with gun channels that make commercials. I'm glad they're there. And it's up to you to be an informed consumer and know that was a commercial. And as long as they're not dishonest about it, as long as they're not someone's like, I never take a dime and everything I say is true and blah, 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 and, positive or negative about a gun, and then they're making money off of it on the sly, like they are being paid for their opinions when they claim they're not, that's when I start having a problem with them, because I don't like dishonest people. But if they're just making commercials, don't have a problem with it. More power to them, as long as they're not, like I said, not selling out the Second Amendment or damaging the gun community as a whole. If they're just like, hey, here's what's great about this gun, no problem with them, so I'm not going to be calling them out for that. Another thing people ask me about is people that are just power hungry and money hungry, and it's so clear that they're just trying to climb the ladder and they're trying to elbow their way into big organizations and big companies and trying to make money and trying to gain power. And why don't you call those people out? Well, I don't care for people trying to gain power or make money. I love money, not so much into the power thing, because with power usually comes work, and I don't like to work. I did enough of that when I was younger. I don't want to do it now. But as long as they are not, like I said, selling out the Second Amendment, damaging the gun community, I don't care if they want to climb the ladder. Even if they want to do some unscrupulous things to do it, business is not always the most scrupulous place you can be. I'm sorry for my voice cracking. I think I'm going through puberty again. Or the first time, some people might say. But I don't care if they're doing that. That's up to them. If they want that position of power, I would want people to be in the position of power who actually care about the Second Amendment. So as long as they're not someone who's willing to climb the ladder by stepping on the backs of the gun community, stepping on, and trampling on the Second Amendment to climb that ladder, then I'm okay with them getting into a position of power. I don't want Wayne LaPierre's up there who don't give a shit about guns, that only care about money and are more than willing to sell our rights for profit. Those aren't the people I want in power. I want people that actually care about our rights. And I really don't care if they do want those positions. So just because someone's power hungry, money hungry, whatever, that isn't really a reason for me to go after them. Like I said, as long as they're not damaging your rights, my rights, as long as they're not selling us out, and as long as they're not harming the gun community. I really don't care about their personal business. Another thing, people are always like, oh, what about the e-beggars? All the e-beggars. You should be calling out the e-beggars. Why? Because they ask you for something? I mean, you get something from them all the time. You watch their videos, right? So if you want to give someone money who says, hey, I need to get a new camera to keep making videos, go ahead if you want to. If you don't want to, don't. You're not required to give them money. So I don't see a problem with that. I do have a problem with it when they pretend it's a charity just so they can line their own pockets. That I have a problem with, and I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. But otherwise, if they're e-begging, they're e-begging. Now, I've always said I don't like to e-beg for personal things. I'll never ask you to pay for my equipment. I'll never ask you to pay for my travel expenses or anything like that because I do this willingly. And like when my camera went out a few weeks ago, I just didn't make videos for a few weeks. I just did live chats. And then until I could afford to buy a camera, because I don't think it's up to you to pay for my expenses. However, if I asked you to and you wanted to, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just something I personally don't want to do. But I do my share of e-begging, if that's what you want to call it. I consider e-begging asking for something when you're not giving anything back. Like, buy me this or buy me that, and you're not going to get anything out of it. Like, if you're supporting a channel that's actually providing content that you want to see, or maybe fighting for laws or for rights you want to see fought for, well, then that's not e-begging because you're getting something for it. But I mean, I do my share of e-begging. I say, hey, support this charity, support that charity. Here, help me save this animal, help me save that animal. So I think we all do a little bit e-begging. So like I said, as long as you're not selling out the Second Amendment or the gun community, beg all you want. It's up to us whether we give you money or not. It's up to you whether you give me money or not. No one's forcing you. So I don't really have a problem with e-begging. And I think it's sad most of the time, and I think it's transparent, but I really don't care. Like I said, as long as they're not selling out the Second Amendment or the gun community. So people keep asking me, why aren't you calling out this person? Why aren't you calling out that person? Like I said, I really don't have a problem with people doing commercials, making money, trying to obtain power, or e-begging, or whatever they want to do. As long as they believe in not compromising our Second Amendment rights, and as long as they believe in doing what's right for the community as a whole, not just themselves, I'm okay with them. It's when people do different than that. Like when Hickok talks about how red flag laws aren't so bad and promotes the NRA and their history of selling out our rights for cash so that he can get cash for it. When I have to listen to him talk about how he doesn't believe in the Second Amendment because he doesn't believe most of us actually deserve the rights the Constitution grants us. That guy doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, works against the Second Amendment, sells us out constantly for profit. I'll call him out. Other people, like, let's say, Wrangler Star and the Gun Collective. When members of their organization, the Gun Collective, try to rise in power at the expense of the community by trying to find common ground with anti-gunners and compromise, I have a problem with that. When they poison the well for other gun people in the community by saying, hey, Patreon's anti-gun, stop giving Patreon any money. When Patreon's not anti-gun, Patreon was just not letting them do their high-profit, shady scheme they wanted to do. So they're like, well, if I can't profit, I'm going to make sure everyone suffers. Those people have a problem with because they're damaging the gun community as a whole. So I'll call them out. Same thing with Wrangler Star saying, oh, don't go to Patreon, blah, 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 because he makes all his money off Amazon. So how does he dare say anything about Patreon being anti-gun? He has a fucking Amazon channel. So fuck him. He damages, he's willing to poison the well for everybody else for his own profit. So fuck those people. People like Twang and Bang, who, when we were raising money to fight 1639 here, the battle we're still fighting and actually making some progress in, when he gets online and poisons the waters because he doesn't want to give money, so he wants to justify why he's not being active in the fight, why he's not making a video, why he's not making giving any money. Instead of just making a video, he makes a video to try to make himself seem superior because he's the smart guy, and he shits on other people to do it. So fuck guys like him. Basically, I have a problem with a lot of bigger channels because of the way they aren't willing to help other people. It's really clear, if you've been in this community, in these cliques for a while, you understand that once channels get to a certain size, it's basically, what's in it for me, with everything they do. Like, how long have I been running the TYM Triple P? We have literally put triple-digit numbers of guns in the hands of people who otherwise wouldn't have one. And how many shout-outs have I gotten from any of the large channels? 0, because there's nothing in it for them. I have a problem with them for that, but am I going to sit here and make individual videos about each one of them and call them out? No, not going to. Because like I said, that's between me and them. I'll mention it, but I'm not going to tear them down over it. Because they haven't done anything anti-Second Amendment or anti-gun community. Although I do think it could be argued they're not helping the gun community by not promoting this. Because there's people out there in need that probably don't even know this program exists. So I do have a problem with that. But like I said, as long as they're okay with the Second Amendment, as long as they're not believing in selling out, as long as they're not poisoning the minds of people watching their channel, as long as they're not harming the Second Amendment community, I don't care like what they do. I'm okay with it. Even when I went after Iraq veteran and people were like, you went after him because he was selling videos. No, I didn't go after him because of that, because he was making contracts with manufacturers to make money. I'm okay with that. What I went after them for is because during a live chat, Chode sat next to Eric and said, hey, I don't care if they take away bump stocks, because I don't like bump stocks, so I don't give a fuck. As long as they don't take away something I like. To me, I'm like, wow, that's a real good community spirit. Fuck you, Chode. And that's why I went after them. Because of that. And I think that surprised Eric as much as it did me and everybody else watching that chat. I mean, if you watch that chat and watched a lot of the people on there, you see a problem with the gun community, the big problem, the thing I fight against the most. Guys sitting on there saying, hey, at the end of the day, I don't care if people are frightened. Hey, at the end of the day, I don't care if things are done right. I just care about what my sales are in my shop and how many of these cheap Chinese products I was able to move on the internet. That's what those guys were talking about. Those were the upper echelon. Those were the leaders of the gun community. The people talking about, they don't care if they pass bans and anti-gun laws. It's if it increases sales, it's okay with them. Fuck those people. Because like I said, I have a problem with that. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say or how you do or say it. If you actually believe it, I don't care about your opinions as long as you're honest. And I don't care if you do commercials. I don't care if you're power hungry. I don't care whatever you are. As long as you don't compromise the Second Amendment, as long as you don't promote selling us out, as long as you don't act in a way that's detrimental to the gun community for your own personal profit, I don't have a problem with you. It's when you start doing that, that's when we'll have a problem.